Hi, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Early Bird. We're going to take a look at yesterday's two games, as there were some dramatics to talk about. Coming up. All right, we're going to take a look at yesterday's games and discuss. I wouldn't say there was any big surprises yesterday, but there was certainly a doozy in the late game to watch. So let's take a look, and we'll take a look at this and get about our day, folks. All right, here's the scores. Here we go. The defending Stanley Cup champions make a statement in Game 1, win 4-1 in Florida in a showdown of their rivals. And I'll tell you, this Florida Panther team right now is just scratching their heads like, what are we going to do with these guys? Really, this Tampa team appear to be getting stronger, folks. It's exactly what I thought they were going to do, is get stronger as they move along now, like a champion usually does when they escape the way they did in the first round. And over in the West, Colorado win a dramatic one in overtime. We'll talk about in a few minutes. All right, so let's head over east. Let's get back to the east, and let's head over to Florida. And we'll take a look at the clips and discuss it a little. Here we go. Lightning defeat Panthers in Game 1 of Eastern's second round. And let's take a look at those numbers. Shots on goal, you see 36-34. Face-offs even as well, 49% for Tampa, 51% for Florida. And the power play, the story of the game. Tampa 3 for 6 on the power play, the Panthers 0 for 3. Solid hitting affair, 30 hits apiece. 16 blocks for Tampa Bay, 11 for Florida. And rounding it out, the giveaway 16 for Tampa Bay and 12 for Florida. And now the shots. In the first period, Florida outshot them 11-8. The second period, Florida outshot them again 13-10. And in the third period, Tampa Bay outshot them 18-10 for 36-34 total for the game. So, if you want to break this down, I would say, of course, special teams were the difference, right, in this one. But for me, folks, it was just a plain old, old-fashioned experience. Really, I looked at this Tampa Bay team yesterday, and you could just tell especially when they were up 2-1, right around there, they're closing the door. You could just see it. They were playing some good hockey out there. When you hold Florida to like 30, 35 shots, it might not sound great, but it's pretty darn good when you're in Florida and they got this high octane offense, and my goodness, they, looking at the hitting in the game was a typical hitting affair. It wasn't like crazy dirty, anything like that. It was really just a good tempo game with a veteran playoff team and their counterparts trying to dethrone them, and they just really weren't having anything of it, Tampa Bay, last night. I think Tampa Bay would have beaten a lot of teams yesterday just by their presence alone. It felt like, here are the champions. We have a fresh start. There's 8 teams left now, not 16, and here we are. It's just kind of how it felt for me, guys. This Tampa Bay team is going to be very hard to put down and stop. They're going to be very hard to dethrone now that they escaped that Toronto series. They're going to be very hard. But this Florida team showed, especially if you look, they outshot them 24-18 the first 2 periods. But, you got to capitalize while you're out playing this team, because they're going to turn it on you. And like they did in the third, they had as many shots in the third as they had the first 2 periods. So you knew sooner or later Tampa's going to turn the Jets on and get it going. You just knew. I don't know. It's going to be a real effort to stop Tampa Bay. Florida's got their hands full. We'll see how that series pans out. All right, let's go out west. Good game out there. Good game. And here we go. Manson Avalanche top Blues in overtime in Game 1 of Western second round. And the numbers say that St. Louis had 25 shots and Colorado had 54. And let's not forget they had 5 or 6 goal posts in this game as well. Look at the faceoffs too, folks. 36% for St. Louis, 64 for the Avalanche. And the important statistic of this game, if you're a Colorado fan, you know it, was that 1-for-1 on the power play late in the game when they tied it. My goodness. Colorado was 0-for-3. Pretty good officiating in this game, I will say. It really was. They called 2 late penalties. They called one on, and both teams, of course, were losing their mind about it. But, you know, like pretty good officiating overall. The hits. St. Louis show up in this one. 39 hits. 39 hits and 47 again for the Avalanche, folks. They just continue to do it. They just continue to hit. 27 blocks for St. Louis, 13 for the Avalanche. And inside those blocks, even though they had 27 blocks, folks, the Avalanche, I believe, threw 110 shots at them in this game. Something like that. I think it was 109 or 110. And the giveaways, 5 for the Blues, 9 for the Avalanche. And we'll take a look at the shots in the game here. All right, here we go. First period, 8-7 Colorado, who looked really good in those 8 shots. They were skating in that period. They were. You could see Colorado was skating, even though the shots don't tell the tale there. In the second period, 19-9 Colorado. Third period, 14-9 Colorado. And look at the overtime. 13-0 for Colorado in the overtime. 54-25 shots for the game. So 39, 43, is that 46? Yeah, 40. Yeah, 46-18. Periods 2-3 in the overtime. You know, St. Louis, I thought, played maybe I would say a little better than what the shots say, but they were kind of just hanging around is what it was. And in that third period, they were outshot, what was it, 14-9, okay? But the Blues out-hit them 15-10 in that period and scored the goal. So St. Louis stuck around physically and got rewarded. They got rewarded. You know, drew a penalty, scored, and then they forced the overtime. In that overtime, folks, 13-0 shots on goal, 7-2 the hits for Colorado in the overtime. I checked all this before. This Colorado team right now is on a mission. They're on a mission, and if they're going to continue to get 40 shots a game and 40 hits a game, who's going to stop them? Really, you know, who's going to stop that? They're a machine. So they're for real this time around. St. Louis have their hands full. I think the Blues can still win a few games. But would it shock me if Colorado won 4 straight? No, not when I see another hitting performance like this. Because in the first period, you know, the second period, I'm willing to bet in the second period, which I didn't check. I'm willing to bet St. Louis out-hit them in the second also. I'm willing to bet. St. Louis showed up finally. It was like they were forced into a physical affair also, St. Louis. You had to force them into it, though. This is the problem. And, you know, so I'll give you my nutshells, okay? My nutshells. Tampa Bay looked like the veteran, experienced hockey team that nobody in the league would have beat yesterday just because they're Tampa Bay. And we've lived what you've lived. We choked for years. We're not going there no more. We're not losing to you. We don't want our championship to end to Toronto and them to be able to say for years that they're the ones that dethroned us. No, you know, this is the kind of team this team is. You know, so now here they are against our rivals with the Panthers, and they're like, you're our rivals. You're not ending us either. This is what's going on with the mindset I believe in Tampa. This Tampa Bay team is strong mentally. And this is the one team that could get into a series with Colorado eventually, okay, if they met in the finals and win because they're mentally stronger. No other reason. Not Colorado could outplay them, but lose in 6 because Tampa Bay's still mentally stronger. Ask the 83 Edmonton Oilers about when they played the Islanders and lost 4 straight, and they were doing all sorts of good stuff. They just couldn't do anything right, it seemed. And Gretzky said he went by the dressing room that year, and after the Islanders won their 4th cup in a row, okay, and he he said he went by that dressing room and he said the difference with their team and that Islanders team that just won their 4th straight Stanley Cups. The Oilers said they were ready to go another series if they had to, whereas the Islanders had nothing left. They had they had nothing left. The ice packs on. They were exhausted. You just seen them, like they were happy they won the cup, but they were just exhausted, and that was the difference. And the Oilers knew they had to go that next step further. That could be a youth mistake that happens to Colorado if Colorado makes the finals, because he's seen this Colorado team is hitting. This Colorado team is passing. They're skating. They got goaltending when they need it. It's the whole package this year, okay? They don't lack the hitting game this year, folks. This year, this Colorado team is up to the physical challenge of winning the Stanley Cup. So if they're up to that, and they got the 40 shots a game, my goodness. I mean, this is going to be... But there's a team called the Tampa Bay Lightning that are also that type of team, also, that can show up. So we're going to see, and hopefully, Brayden Point can come back, I'm hoping, 100%. And we might see that series eventually. We might. I don't know. But I seen shades of a Stanley Cup final when I watched those two teams yesterday. It felt like this could be the year that Tampa Bay and Colorado actually meet in the finals. It just felt like it. But we're going to see, Carolina's going to have something to say about that, and so is Edmonton. So we're going to have to see those teams today, and Calgary, of course. And, look, I'm looking at all the teams in this playoff as possible champions. I mean, no matter what way you cut it, anybody can beat anybody on any given night. It's the NHL of this modern era, guys. This is, this is not the 70s where there was the 5 great teams or the 4 great teams, and then the rest kind of got lucky to, get to the Final Four even, It's not like that now. Now you stay healthy, you ride a hot goalie, anything can happen. All right, folks, that's it. That's it. I'm rambling. I got to get out of here. I'll see you folks at some point later on tonight. Have a good one.